Cormac McCarthy spent 10 years writing a book that no publisher would touch. Critics called it pornographic. Harold Bloom called it the greatest American novel of the 20th century. And most people who start it never finish. The question isn't whether it's violent, because it is. The question is what McCarthy is doing with that violence. And the answer is something most readers completely miss. In the upcoming minutes, I am going to argue that Blood Meridian is not a nihilist book. It's not a celebration of violence. It's not simply a Western. It is a philosophical argument, the most uncomfortable one in American literature, about the relationship between human nature and war. And once you see it, or I convince you, you cannot unsee it. McCarthy wrote this between 1974 and 1985. He was broke, obscure, living without heat. The book is based on actual historical events. The Glanton Gang, a scalp-hunting mercenary company operating on the U.S.-Mexico border in 1849. McCarthy found them in a memoir called My Confession by Samuel Chamberlain. It was sitting in a San Antonio library waiting for someone to pay attention. Judge Holden, the most terrifying character in American fiction, in my opinion, is likely based on a real person. No one knows who. And that's the first uncomfortable thing about this book. McCarthy isn't imagining the worst. He's describing what actually happened. And then he's asking why. Judge Holden is not the villain. He's the thesis. His central claim? War is God. Not metaphorically. He means it as ontology. War is the organizing principle of existence itself. Every scene with the judge exists to demonstrate or complicate that claim. And most readers hate the judge because they think McCarthy agrees with him. But there's a reason he's the only character in the book who never sleeps, never ages, and is seen dancing alone at the end. McCarthy isn't endorsing him, he's examining him. And the kid is deliberately blank. No backstory, no interiority, no arc in the conventional sense. He's the one character who flinches, who hesitates. McCarthy gives him one thing no one else has in the book, and that's the capacity for mercy. And he acts on it exactly once. The kid doesn't defeat evil. What he does is he refuses to become it. In this book, that's the only thing that passes for heroism. And it gets him killed. The Sonoran Desert isn't just a backdrop. It's a participant. McCarthy's prose style, no quotation marks, minimal punctuation, biblical cadence. It makes human action and geological fact feel equivalent in moral weight. The implication is brutal. Human violence is not aberrant. It's weather. By stripping the punctuation from dialogue, McCarthy makes a structural argument. What humans say is no more significant than what the wind does. The Glanton gang's atrocities are historically documented. McCarthy's choice to render them in sublime prose, the same language used for sunsets and stone, is deliberate. He's refusing to let the reader aesthetically separate themselves from the violence. And this is why the book is hard to read. Not because it's graphic, because it's beautiful. And McCarthy knows you noticing that beauty implicates you. But here's what I said at the start that we still haven't answered. If this isn't nihilism, if McCarthy isn't saying nothing matters, then what is he saying? Because the judge wins, the kid dies, the violence continues. So what's the point? The judge's philosophy is not endorsed. It's examined. McCarthy's prose style is itself the counterargument. Just the fact that he writes with this much care, this much beauty, this much precision is evidence that meaning making is possible, even in the face of what the judge describes. Because the book exists. That's the argument. In a rare 2007 interview with Oprah.
So tell me about this place. Why do you love to come here to the Santa Fe Institute?
Well, it's just full of bright, interesting people with interesting things to say, and that's fun.
And you prefer hanging out with scientists? You prefer scientists to write?
I don't know any writers, and I would much prefer to hang out with scientists.
Mr. Cormac McCarthy is 73 years old. He's always been fiercely...
McCarthy said he's interested in life and death, and that the more you deal with it, the more your words have to measure up to it. The ending, the judge dancing, saying he will never die, it's not triumphant. It's a warning. McCarthy isn't telling you that war is God. He's telling you that we keep acting like it is. And the only responsible response, as a reader, as a human, as a person, is to refuse to look away from it. So the book nobody wanted to publish is now taught in universities. It's assigned alongside Moby Dick. It's called a masterpiece by people who disagree about almost everything else. That didn't happen because it's comfortable. It happened because McCarthy did the one thing great literature always does. He told the truth. Even when the truth was this hard to hold. And if you want to go deeper, I'll link McCarthy's Paris Review interview in the description. In my opinion, it's one of the best things he's ever said about why he writes. And remember, if this kind of analysis is what you're here for, my next video on The Shining by Stephen King should entice you the same. So do me a favor, subscribe to Odd Eye, and I'll see you there.